In this episode of Idea City,
There was no big bang that happened. I wasn't discovered in a nightclub. I have always done what I've done. There's no magic tricks. There wasn't any auditions. I just started doing what I did.
also featured in this episode, Moses Neimer's Idea City Conference. Ideas change the world.
She needs no introduction. Her name is Jann Arden. Yeah. She's been with us throughout, has paid very careful attention, and will now give us her erudite analysis of what has transpired.
I think I need to go over aneurysm symptoms and stroke symptoms because I felt them both during the last 3 days. Thank you, Moses. For those of you who don't know me, I do want to tell you just a little bit about myself. I am an environmentally aware, agnostic, God-fearing Jewish possibilian. I am a pot smoker who occasionally hires an asexual dominatrix, very difficult. We usually do it on a 3D copier machine. I like my Petri dish meat medium well. And I do like oysters because they're very... And I am generally cheery. My mom was a saint growing up. My dad was the goddammit guy. God damn it, Jesus Christ, do not use my goddamn good lumber. I'm 9. I don't have an effing clue what a good board looks like from a bad board. But I personally thought my name was Jesus, and my older brother thought his name was goddammit. It was very confusing. So that was my mom and dad. This is the 3 people that they created. There's myself, my younger brother Patrick, who we adopted at 10 days old, and my older brother in the striped shirt, Dre, has been in prison for 20 years this year from first-degree murder. So my mom always says, Jann, we are not the only weird family. There are weirder families than us out there. And I'm like, well, they're getting slimmer and slimmer as the years go by. My younger brother we're a little bit estranged. He has 2 twin boys. They are both very sick. They're just about to have their 12th birthday. One is severely autistic, and one has cystic fibrosis. What I want to talk about is just the insignificance of moments that have all kind of tugged together like a rope to create my life. There was no big bang that happened. I wasn't discovered in a nightclub. I have always done what I've done. There's no magic tricks. There wasn't any auditions. I just started doing what I did, and I've never looked back. Every time I tried to get away from it, it dragged me back. This woman is my grandmother, my father's mother. She introduced me to religion. That is a perm that my mom gave me. I got it in 11th grade, and I just got the ends of it cut out 2 weeks ago. My grandmother told me about God and about remaining steadfast. She scared the living hell out of me because she basically said to me, Jann, Jesus sees you everywhere you go, everything you do. Jesus, the Lord, our God, sees you. And I swear to you, in my mother's life, for 1 year, I peed and pooed under a towel. I took a towel off the rack and I placed it on my lap because I was mortified about Jesus seeing me poo. And I had all these things going on in my life, but I was generally so frightened. And, starting my period was a whole other, if only I'd had an aluminum maxi pad, I could have really made the most of that. My My parents didn't know that I sang a note or played the guitar until I was 18. And at that point, I'd written almost 300 songs. And I learned secretly from the time I was 11 years old in the basement.
Get the latest Idea City news instantly. Follow us on Twitter. Moses Neimer's Idea City Conference. Ideas change the world.
I always sang. When I probably started singing before I started talking. I have no idea why. It was something that was just, I was always humming and making up tunes. So music was always tinkering around. But by the time I got to be this age, and this is one of my very few public performances in the living room, my parents didn't know that I sang a note or played the guitar until I was 18. And at that point, I'd written almost 300 songs. And I learned secretly from the time I was 11 years old in the basement. I couldn't tell anybody because I was embarrassed about it. I thought I was such a funny kid. And my songs aren't not depressing, FYI. They're very uplifting and motivating. Just don't operate heavy machinery when you're listening to one of my records. But I always wrote about people dying. My parents died in the first 10 songs that I wrote. It was just, that's what I had a propensity to do, was write really, really sad songs. But I did have to let my parents in on the fact that I was really musical and I was interested in it. And my mom said to me, well, you know, someone like you, it's just going to be a disappointment. But she was right. They were very realistic. It's not that they didn't think I was great. I mean, in the same breath, my mom would say to me, Jan, you're as good as Anne Murray. And my dad would say, you're the steadiest, sturdiest goddamn singer in Canada. My dad was drunk for 25 years. So when I was growing up, it was very rare to see my dad standing in the yard with us. He was working really hard. It was probably very different in the 60s and 70s. Dads just kind of, you know, they were there, but they weren't there. My dad really wasn't there. My mom did everything for us. She was our saving grace. She was absolutely she was just the glue that held our family together. I have no animosity towards my dad at all. He worked really hard, but he also gave me an incredible work ethic, believe it or not. He said, the harder you work, Jan, the luckier you were going to get. Whenever I did have a conversation with my father, he was always talking to me in sound bites. So he was the one that was always telling me, you can absolutely do anything you want, Jan. Just set your sights. So I think I just, in the back of my mind, thought, well, why the hell not? I had no plan at all to sing. I just kept singing. This is my mom, my angel of a mother, who told me that no matter what happened, life was going to be very hard, but it was my job to throw my shoulders back and see what was coming. You got to stand in the doorway and see what's coming to get you. There's no sense standing there and not seeing what's coming to get you. You get a drink in your hand and you face the sun and you just get on with it. My parents have been every bit of my success. I'm standing here more for humor than I really am for any kind of musical attributes I might have had. I love music. I can't take any responsibility even for writing music because I sit down and I get an idea and I jot it down. I don't read music. I have no clue what the sticks and dots mean. I couldn't tell you what any of it is. My whole theory was if it sounds like something, chances are that it is. What I have to do now is go forward and make sure that my parents are looked after. They're in their late 70s. They are the love of my life. They're actually the heart that beats in my chest.
Great ideas are meant to be shared. Join the discussion on Facebook. Moses Neimer's Idea City Conference. Ideas change the world.
What I have to do now is go forward and make sure that my parents are looked after. They're in their late 70s. They are the love of my life. They're actually the heart that beats in my chest. I mean, everyone seems to kind of put their parents somewhere that's very on the periphery of their lives, and people are like, oh my God, doesn't it drive you crazy to live so close to your parents? I wish I would have moved them next to me 5 or 6 years ago. I wish I would have. Or even 10 years ago, I didn't have the balls to do it. I was just like, oh, they're going to be, in my life and knocking on the door. They both have a little bit of health issues. My mom's got a pacemaker. She's had lots of heart issues. My dad's had a couple of strokes. My mom says, well, I wish he would have had a stroke 30 years ago because it's like sleeping with a stranger. So they're just... Well, he sleeps with one foot on the floor now. It's the weirdest thing, but it's not bad. It's not bad. But my parents are just, they've been amazing neighbors to me. They've been absolutely stunning, stellar neighbors. I don't know what it's going to be like in the next few years. I mean, I'm still so busy singing. I just finished touring. I've been writing music for 35 years. So yes, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be looking after my parents. The one perk of having them, well, there's many, many perks, but I have a 7-Eleven right next to me. Mom, do you have any basil? I've got dried, fresh, packed in ice. What do you want? Just come over and get it. I just want to leave you with one little thing that happened to me probably 25 years ago, and it's so simple, but it changed the whole course of my life from the time I turned 15, and I was riding the lawnmower, the ride-on lawnmower. And I was going around the yard. We've always lived out of town. I've been out of town since I was a little kid, but I went by a water barrel, and I just sort of rode by, and there was 2 moths circling around in the barrel. And I went forward about 10 feet, and I don't know what it was that stopped me. I just stopped it and shut it off and got off the lawnmower, and I went back, and I looked around, and I got a stick, and I fished them both out. They were going around and around and around, and I don't know what even struck me. It's a moth. I hate moths. I crashed a car trying to swat a moth out of my way, but I fished them out, and I set them on a rock, and it changed the way I thought for the rest of my life. I had such a sense of pride for the rest of the day, and such a sense of accomplishment. I got back on the mower, and I thought, I hope you make it. And that's just the power that's given to all of us as human beings, as seemingly crazy as that sounds. I still think about those 2 moths and fishing them out, and it shapes me into the person that I am every day and how I behave every day. So I want to just thank you all for listening and laughing, and this has been a trip for me this last few days. I'm telling you what, I'm going back to school. Thank you.
Wait. Those of you who haven't seen it, was that a good issue?
Well, in 10 years, I'm going to show my front, but I'm going to need tape.
This is what Jann is speaking about. Another first. There you are, Jann.
My mom said, you look like a cherub. My parents have enabled me to do everything I've done in my life. They've been so funny and so fair.
And you've been so brave and so wonderful to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You must be Moses.
You win a prize.
Get the latest Idealist news, presenter information, and watch streaming video at ideacityonline.com. Moses Neimer's Idea City Conference. Ideas change the world.
If he could come out here, Carlos del Junco. The first line in the bio says, to say Carlos plays harmonica is like saying Jimi Hendrix plays the guitar. Where is he? There he is. Hey, Carlos. Boy,
Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Wow. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. All right.
Idea City is a place where ideas come face to face to inspire and give us hope. At this time, our planet needs it most. Idea City is a place. Everybody sing. Where ideas come face to face to inspire and give us hope.